Whether it's getting a deal on a major appliance or saving some money on a new pair of jeans, sales are mighty appealing. Manufacturers and retailers know that, and they have a whole bag of tricks to convince you that you're scoring a bargain even when you're not. I'm Herb Weisbaum, a contributing editor at Checkbook.org.
Welcome to Consumerpedia at Checkbook.org. We're the nonprofit that helps consumers select services, avoid trouble, and save money. Because we don't accept any advertising or take money from any business we recommend, you can rely on Checkbook.org to be completely independent and objective. Now, here's the host of Consumerpedia, America's consumer expert, the consumer man, Herb Weisbaum.
Let's be honest, it's exciting to find the product you want on sale. Saving money is not only good for the family budget, it's fun. That's why so many people fight the crowds on Black Friday. But here's the real deal. The sale may be fake. That discount could be phony, designed to get you to buy now without shopping around. Let's talk about this with the editor of Checkbook.org, Kevin Brasler. Kevin, I know this is something you are really passionate about.
This is something we've been looking at for years now, where we've been tracking sales at major retailers and finding time and again that most of the sales are just illegitimate. They're just marketing come-ons designed to get consumers to avoid shopping around, to see that big discount, 40% off, 60% off, and make them think, look, they're almost giving it away, right? It's 60% off. I'd better buy now or this deal's going to go away. The problem is that they just continue to offer these fake discounts over and over again. They'll strike out a price that they rarely, if ever, charge. And if they rarely, if ever, charge the price that they're, in theory, discounting from, it's not a legitimate sale. It's just meant to get you to buy now and not shop around.
So let's unpack that. There was a lot there. First of all, a lot of retailers have a sale like every other week. It's a Thursday sale and it's a monthly sale, and there's no reason why they can't have a sale.
Yeah, and this is what they do, right? I mean, we saw over the course of 10 months, we tracked sale prices at major retailers, at 19 of them. It's some we visited in person, and 1 week it was a Thanksgiving sale, then it was some kind of Black Friday event, then it was a holiday sale, then they had a post-holiday sale, and then they'd have a clearance sale. But then the following week, they'd be back to, Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day or something. So the signs would change, the messaging would change. But these discounts that seemed like they were really good, steep price cuts were just time and again the same thing week after week. So when you do this, really by law, it's illegal. You can't continuously offer something and say it's at a discount. Say you're offering a special price if the price you're offering really isn't special.
And a lot of times they have the was, used to be, they have the line crossed out on this retail price or whatever, and the item probably never sold at that price. That's another trick they use.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes if you dig into the terms of some of these retailers' websites, you'll find if they bother to define that crossed out price, we found one retailer said, well, this is a price we might have charged at some point in the past, or one of our competitors might have charged at some time in the past. I mean, it's absurd. They're saying, well, maybe this price was charged either by us or someone else. We don't know. But we're not committing to ever offering that item at that price. We're just going to continue to use this. They're called anchor prices to make you think that that's what you might pay elsewhere. Or in fact, that's what you might pay here at our store if you don't take advantage of this sale. It's all meant to trick you. And we'll keep saying this time and again, I'm sure during this podcast, Herb, is to trick you into not shopping around. They don't want you going somewhere else to see if you can find it for less. And they for sure don't want you thinking, well, maybe I'll buy something else, or maybe I won't buy right now. They want to push you into buying right then and there before they lose that business.
And one of the big advertising tricks, and you mentioned it earlier, is the percentage off. 30%, everything slashed 50%, 60% off. The percentages are so misleading. The question you need to ask yourself is, what's the bottom line? What is the price I'm paying, and is that a lower price than it normally sells for?
Right, that's the problem. And part of the design here is to make you think you got a great deal. We've all done this, right? You think you've gotten a great deal, so what's your first move? Often it's to say, well, I saved so much money buying this one thing, now I can afford to spend even more. And they also want you to think that you got a great deal, that you walked away thinking you got a steal, because that means you'll come back. You'll think, well, oh man, they sold stuff for 60, 70% off. I'm going to go back the next time they have a sale and buy more stuff there. The problem is if you track prices week after week, which is what our shoppers have done, you'll find that these discounts just continue on and on and on. And there's really no reason to rush. And there's for sure no reason to not bother to shop around, right? That you really do have to make sure you're getting a good price. Because one thing we find is that even though they're offering these fake discounts of 40% off or 60% off, we could often find the same product elsewhere for less money if we bothered to look for it.
Which is strange to me that with the internet making it so easy to price shop, that retailers still use this trick. But I guess they're counting on, as you said, people not shopping around. You just see that big red 60% off and you jump right in.
It used to be that only, a few department stores would try this. When we started tracking these sales years ago, we only found, Macy's, Kohl's, and a few others were engaged in this practice, really heavily invested in this scheme. But the last time we looked at this just a few years ago, we found that, of the 19 retailers we looked at, really most of them are now engaged in this. There are very few major retailers anymore that don't, in some shape or form, with some types of products, conduct these fake sales. One of the few that doesn't is Costco. Costco, if you see something discounted, quote unquote, on sale at Costco, it usually means that they're discontinuing the item, it's going to go away, or it's genuinely a good low price. Doesn't mean you still shouldn't shop around, you should, but Costco is really one of the only honest brokers in this sale business anymore. Amazon crosses out a lot of prices and shows a different price, but it at least seems to try to, it depends on the product. Sometimes that crossed out price, they call it a list price, or that's what the manufacturer listed it for. They're not really inflating those anchor prices like a lot of other retailers are. But no matter what, you do have to make sure that you're getting the best deal. And the internet makes it easy to shop for a good deal. And I think that's why a lot of these retailers are doing this. More retailers now than ever are doing it, is because the only way they can compete on price with the internet is to make you think you're getting a low price.
Another trick retailers use is scarcity. Only 3 left, only 5 left. You better buy it now. It may not be there if you come back tomorrow. What's the real deal on that?
Yeah, a lot of websites these days, they'll warn you about low supply, especially, say, hotel booking websites. We found often do this, where they say there's only 1 or 2 rooms remaining. Don't be pressured into buying based on these warnings. We found that overall, this threat of scarcity, where if you don't buy now, you're going to be left out. You're not going to be able to book a room or buy the product you wanted, that these warnings just aren't legitimate, especially in the world of hotel bookings. For example, we found that, we'd see hotel only have 2 rooms left. We'd go back a month later and find more rooms were now available at a lower price. So again, you have to kind of be aware that retailers and really all sellers these days are trying to promote these fake discounts and also pressure you into buying by making you think that if you don't act now, then this deal is going to go away, or the product or hotel room or whatever in general won't be available anymore.
Want ratings? Checkbook has ratings for all types of services in these 7 metro areas: Boston, Chicago, Minneapolis-St. Paul, Seattle and the Puget Sound area, the San Francisco Bay Area, Philadelphia and the Delaware Valley area, and Washington, D.C. To find out more, visit checkbook.org. Our advice is always free. Ratings of local services are available with a subscription. If you live in one of these 7 areas and haven't joined Checkbook yet, check us out. Get a free 30-day subscription by going to checkbook.org/consumerpedia.
Are the manufacturers involved in this at all? Meaning, are they holding in line on how much the retailer can actually lower the price? Is that part of what's going on here at all?
For big ticket products like major appliances, bikes, tennis rackets even, vacuum cleaners, things like that, there's generally collaboration these days between the manufacturers and the biggest retailers in terms of setting what's called minimum advertised prices. And basically what that means is that they've agreed, the retailers and the manufacturers have agreed to not advertise a product for less than a given amount. They're trying to level the playing field in terms of price competition across the major retailers, all their suppliers. And so I think that's one reason that you see these fake sales is that they're really only authorized to offer that item at a certain amount or above anyways. And so sometimes, if you shop around for a product, even though somebody's saying, oh, it's 40% off, once you actually bother to shop around, you'll find that everyone pretty much is offering it for the same price. That's not true of everything, but often you'll see that, among the major retailers we found for lots of different products, they're all pretty much within 5 or 10% of one another. Doesn't mean you still shouldn't shop around. You might be able to find it for less elsewhere, but I think it really speaks to this issue of fake sales, that the quote unquote list price is a price that no one charges, or very few people ever charge it. They're all discounting to this minimum advertised price that they're allowed to sell it for anyways.
I would assume the retailers would say we're doing this because it's human nature. We know the example of JCPenney, where the new head guy came in and said, I'm not going to do sales anymore because they're fake and we're just going to give them to you at everyday low prices, and their sales plummeted. And actually the news media interviewed some people who said, I'd rather have a sale, even if it's not a real sale, because I think I'm saving money. I mean, a lot of this is based on human nature, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that CEO did not last long, did he? I mean, he was out with a few months later, I think. That's the issue here. Retailers, everyone wants to think that they got a good deal. And when you buy something and you think you got a good deal on it, you feel good about that purchase. And so to a certain extent, consumers are complicit in this. I mean, I've done it, right? Oh, I got 40% off. You're at an outlet mall while you're at the beach or whatever. And so you go in and it makes it seem like, based on all the signage, that you're getting this deal compared to what you'd otherwise get. And is that true or not? Well, the only way you'd know is to actually bother to go and shop around. But I mean, that's part of the problem. That's, the retailers have tapped into our psychology on this, that we want to make sure, we want to feel good about the purchase, and we want to feel so good about it that we'll go ahead and pull the trigger and buy that thing, and also buy more stuff because we think we're getting these great deals. And in doing so, then we'll come back to that retailer because we felt good about the purchase. What you as a consumer have to constantly fight against in your thinking on this is, do I really need this item? Is this a good price? Can I get it for less elsewhere? If you're going to buy it now because it's convenient, that's a good reason to buy it sometimes, as opposed to spending hours trying to select an item and get a good price for it. That's fine. I think the biggest problem is when consumers make hasty decisions. These sales always appear to be temporary things. And so if I don't buy now, then I'm going to lose out. That's what they're preying upon, that you're thinking is that you're going to lose out on this deal if you don't act now. And that's not the case. I think that, if you just take a breath and realize the tactics these retailers use, then you probably won't be making so many purchases that you'll later regret. And a lot of us have done that, right?
Yep. Final question. It sounds like some of these things we're talking about are just smarmy or clever marketing tricks, but some of these things are crossing the line and may possibly be illegal. Is that basically what we're saying here?
Some retailers, some websites for sure are engaged in bait and switch schemes. That for sure is illegal. I mean, black and white illegal. In terms of offering products at a fake discount, there is somewhat more of a gray area there, because the FTC rules governing sale prices, offering something and saying it's a special price, they don't define it. So it's up to, say, a judge and a jury to decide, well, if you offered it at less than half the time at the regular price, is that illegal? I mean, that's not really very well spelled out. And a bigger problem is that the FTC isn't really enforcing its own rules on special prices. That, their rule says if you offer something and you say it's a special price, it has to be a special price. I don't think that anyone can really argue that a department store offering a product 365 days during the year at this fake discounted price is offering something at a special price anymore.
These are just some of the ways retailers get you to make an impulse purchase. Read the 30 tricks sellers use to make you buy now and pay too much on the checkbook.org website. You'll find a link in the More Info section of this podcast.
Make a list of super shoppers, and no question in my mind that Edgar Dworsky, our next guest, is going to be top of the list. Edgar's one of the most frugal shoppers I know. He is the founder and editor of ConsumerWorld.org, a wonderful website that lets you keep track of all the consumer news of the week. And he joins us from Boston. Hello there, Edgar.
Hi, Herb.
You're such a great shopper that you emailed me the other day to let me know that you got $26 worth of groceries for $8.86. Pretty amazing.
You know, you have to know where to shop and use coupons and know prices. Then you can really strike a good deal.
Explain to our listeners how important it is and how you use the web to help you make decisions on whether something's a good price. So you don't fall for the 50% off, the 60% off, clearance sale, whatever, that you know you're really getting a good price.
It's really difficult to know when you're getting a good price because the advertising just shouts, save 50%, save 70%, X dollars off. One of the tools I use is Camel. That gives you a price history of what Amazon has charged for that product over the last year or so. So when you see a price advertised, whether it's on Amazon or not, I go to Camel to see how that compares. I also suggest that people don't necessarily buy just because you see a sale ad. Get to see what price is actually being advertised from time to time. Kind of follow the item, track the item for a while. That way you can tell if the item is being offered at a good price or a great price.
Something you always tell me, and I think it's really important for everyone to hear, is a great price on a lousy product is not a deal.
You have to do your homework, no matter what you're shopping for. If it's something small, if it's something large. So if you're buying a big screen TV, let's say, they all look pretty good in the store. How do you know what's good? I certainly go and I read product reviews at, the main sites like Best Buy, Amazon, Walmart, see what other shoppers who've actually purchased the item have to say. Also look at professional reviews. So go to a website that specializes in reviewing HD TVs, for example. See how a professional rates it. Then you'll get a good sense what you're getting yourself into, because you really can't tell just looking at the picture for 5 minutes in a store.
After you buy something major, an appliance, something like that, do you go back afterwards for a few weeks and check and see if there's a better price and maybe contact the person you bought it from and say, hey, can you match this price? Or what do you do as far as price matching goes?
Many stores do have a price match guarantee that works before the purchase, and some of them work after the purchase, particularly as long as the return policy is still in effect. So yes, I definitely keep track of prices even after the purchase because you can't always strike it right. It's really hard to know on this sale, I'm getting the very best price. At the moment, it looks like a pretty good price, but if you keep track, you can get back the difference from stores or possibly even from your credit card if you have that benefit on the card.
Last thing I want to talk to you about is reviews. A lot of people rely on reviews or star ratings to buy a product. And the fact is, a lot of these reviews and the star ratings are fake.
If you read reviews, and I certainly recommend that you do, you have to take all the positive reviews with a grain of salt and all the negative reviews with a grain of salt. It's really easy to be lured in by a 5-star rating or a 4.5-star rating. I personally like to look at some of the negative reviews also. There should be a good mix of reviews for any product or restaurant or anything you're buying. And when I read the negative reviews, if I get scared, then I tend to back away from buying that product. Check the reviews at many sites. See if some of them say that they have received the item for nothing. That may color the reviewer's opinion of the item. So read a lot of reviews, get a general sense of the product.
Edgar Dworsky is the founder and editor of ConsumerWorld.org, a wonderful website. I suggest you check it out. Edgar, thanks for spending time with us today. We'll let you get back to shopping.
Well, thanks, Herb. Take care.
Stores want to sell you stuff. You want to save money. If you want to cut through the hype to find the great deals, you need to shop around and comparison shop. And thanks to the internet, it's easier than ever to do that. Well, that's this edition of Consumerpedia. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Remember, we release new episodes every other Thursday. Another way you can support the show is to follow Consumerpedia on Facebook and Instagram, and at My Consumerpedia on Twitter. I'm Herb Weisbaum, checkbook.org.
Consumerpedia is a public service of checkbook.org. We're a unique nonprofit that empowers you, the consumer, to save money and make smarter choices. From auto repair shops to doctors, plumbers to vets, you can count on checkbook.org to help you find the best services and avoid the worst. Local ratings are unbiased and accurate. If you live in or around these 7 cities and haven't joined Checkbook yet, check us out. Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Washington, D.C. To get your free 30-day subscription, go to checkbook.org/Consumerpedia. Consumerpedia, empowering consumers to save money and make smarter choices.